we're seeing it repeat. And again, things we're just saying again. How many times have we talked about Jules on this show? And again, 31 out of 79. It just said it all, that stat, didn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's kind of what I find most frustrating about this, I think, is that the manager talks about Jules all the time. So he knows it's an issue. Like, why didn't you kind of pack out your team with dual winners, or did you want to just sort of say we're going to out football teams? You want to just turn it into duels? And the thing is, by the way, duels as a measurement has also got dribbles in there, so they're an attacking measurement and a defensive measurement. And if you have really good dribblers who win those battles, then you are going to win duels. And but what I like about it is it kind of just says who won their battles on the pitch. And if you win your battles, you tend to kind of win football matches. So that's why I find it really instructive, really. And it's just indicative of a Liverpool side that is not winning the battles at the moment. And so, you've got to do that in away games in particular to earn the right to play your football. And that's something that's fallen way short recently.
Yeah, second balls and duels is just the story of the season so far. And trying to bring some positives into the mix. Off the pitch, contract-wise, does sound like things are progressing with potential contract renewals for Gravenberch and Szoboszlai.
Yeah, sounds pretty good at the moment. I mean, I kind of was in touch around Gravenberch a few weeks ago. It didn't seem like massive progress had been made there, but obviously maybe they're at the point now in the year where they do start to talk about it. It would make sense for this to be the time, really. And as much as kind of things feel awful at the moment, I think tying down players like that for the long term and keeping stability, because I mean, we're talking about turnover and what that's done to Liverpool. Liverpool need to lock in a lot of these players now for the next few years and make sure they can have a very, very stable team, because I think that's the way you go about winning trophies consistently. So, sounds like good news. I mean, Szoboszlai in particular has been absolutely unbelievable this season, hasn't he? So, will be great to be able to get him tied down. And of course, Gravenberch as well. I think he's got even more levels to go to as well. So, really important. And Liverpool need that stability, and they need to get ahead of these contract situations, because we've seen in recent seasons the kind of chaos that can cause.
Yeah, we can't be ended up in situations like we are right now, and maybe knocking on to the summer, we'll have to see. But I suppose for this part, I mean, international breaks, I don't even know how to put this, but is this a good international break with what happened yesterday? Because obviously we were talking a bit different, or it felt it could be different after Real Madrid, but is it a good one now?
I don't know. It'll feel kind of negative because of all the comments and the stuff on social media we'll be seeing. But I think for the players, maybe to just get away and just have a reset. And to be fair, talk about a reset though, they've got to as well think that they've got to take confidence from some of what they did this week as well. Let's not erase the Aston Villa and the Real Madrid performances, and let's also acknowledge that it was City away. I mean, in terms of difficult away games they've got left now, I think, Arsenal will rival that. But outside of that, that's probably one of the hardest you're ever going to play in a season. So if nothing else, even if the performance was atrocious, at least, you can say that it's out of the way now. It's done, so you don't have to go there again. So that's a kind of good thing to say about it. And you got to kind of look ahead to what's to come as well, and that looks quite inviting. So it's just a chance for them to go away. And you just really hope that no further injuries, and they can kind of go from there, really.
Fingers crossed on that as well. And we talk about it there because there has been some tough aways like Chelsea, Palace, City. That it's not been a good fixture-wise start to the season. And when you look at it there, it does seem quite favourable. It's a lot of teams all the way through to the 27th of December in the Premier League where they're in the bottom half or relegation zone even. And even the aways, you're thinking you probably take Leeds United at the moment in those as well. So on paper, it looks like a decent run sort of towards the end of the year now for Liverpool. But there's got to be good results, you feel, from this one, or it could get even uglier.
Yeah, they have been due a run of easier fixtures, by the way, because you've got to say, like, the start to the season and the amount of like really tricky away games that they've had, it has been a really, really difficult one. I think a more difficult start to the season than anyone kind of out of City or Arsenal even. I really do think Liverpool's fixtures have been very, very tricky. So it's nice to see a run like that coming about. But as you say, there's kind of a bit of pressure on it because you've got to make the most of it. But there are some kind of gentle home games in there that you feel that Liverpool will be able to win. There, even I know Forest are kind of turning a corner a little bit, but it's not as easy for Sean Dyche teams to come to Anfield and do what they want to do, and Liverpool are going to be stronger there. You also hope that we start to see more from Wirtz, that we start to see more of Alexander Isak and this team, and Kirkez as well, and the summer signings, because as much as we're saying, we've got to give them time and it will take time to adapt. Around the kind of turn of the year is where you want to start to see the best of them starting to shine out. They should be adapted by that point. So, they've got a little bit of leeway, but we're coming to the end of that. So this run now, 5 home games to 4 away games. Some of the games look a lot more gentle. Yeah. Let's start seeing the best version of Liverpool, really. And if not, that's when I think, if there's some defeats in there, you lose to Nottingham Forest at home, and that's when you start to really get panicky, I think, about kind of what is going on, because, Liverpool should be more than capable of winning quite a few of these games. And if they do, look, they're 8th at the moment, but they're 2 points off 3rd. I think if you get to the end of that run and you win the games that you should do, then you will be very, very comfortable about a top 4 finish. Champions League qualification won't even be in question at that point. So that's got to be the aim, really, is to try and build some momentum in this run now.
And the title's gone. I mean, you can be optimistic, but you can be, wildly on a different planet if you think we're in the title race. I suppose, is the expectation of this team that realistically they should be getting top 4 because of the players they've got, without doubt, and how small that gap is. But even by its nature, Liverpool have almost got the feel of a cup team this season as well, aren't they? They can batter an opponent 1 minute, but get hammered or not show up in another one. Is that it's the realistic expectation now, isn't it? Top 4, maybe a cup.
Yeah, I would say so. And I mean, that kind of sounds, I had a few people on YouTube kind of on the comments kind of suggesting that, being very negative, to say that with 27 games left to go that you're writing the title off. But it was very bullish about Liverpool were going to win the title very early last season. And it was for a combination of reasons. One is that once you get to kind of a gap of 8 points, that is more than people think it is in terms of what the two sides' points per game have to be then to kind of correct that. Is the gap is vast there, and you really have to go at some pace to kind of correct that, or you need your opposition to kind of like lose 4 games on the bounce as Liverpool did. So that is a huge gap, 8 points. Even if it only sounds like you could turn it around in 3 weeks, you could, but it won't. That won't happen. So, and also it's not just that. It's like Arsenal got way better underlying numbers. Man City got way better underlying numbers. So Liverpool they're both behind in a gap that would be big even if they're playing well, and they're not playing very well, and their opponents are playing well. So you could throw those things together. It's not stupid or it's genuine analysis to say that Liverpool won't win the title this season. And I can promise anyone who doubts that, we will be right about that this season. They will not win the title. But as you say, there are things to play for to get top 4. And I think not just being a top 4 battle, by the way, I think with the quality Liverpool have got, they should be doing that comfortably, and they should be finishing 3rd at the very worst, really. So that has got to be the aim to do that. It's got to be the aim to kind of be ending the season absolutely flying. And then you can take that momentum into next season as well. And looking like kind of title contenders at that point. And as you say, there's opportunities in the Cups, in the FA Cup. I don't think the manager's going to completely toss that one off, if I'm honest, because, of course, the League Cup's gone and there's a chance there to maybe do something. So maybe go slightly stronger than you would have expected it, depending on kind of what the draws look like. And the Champions League as well, if Liverpool can improve as they go on, it's going to be less physical in the Champions League as well. Then they've got a chance, and if they can click at the right time. And you saw what PSG did last season. Didn't start the season particularly well, but then came to life at exactly the right time. If Liverpool can kind of do that, then there's every chance that they can make a late run on it. But of course, it's asking a lot. But there's a chance there that they can improve and kick on from there. And if they do it at the right time in the Champions League, they give themselves an opportunity. And I would say if PSG were having the troubles they did in the early part of last season, they probably wouldn't have been in a title race if they were a Premier League team. It's just that for them to be in a tough moment they're still probably winning most of the games in Liga anyway, and the title's basically a given. So, it's very disappointing that Liverpool aren't going to be in a title race. But as I say, you can't completely write off that they'll recover at the right time and finish the season strongly to put themselves in the hunt for a couple of trophies.
I love some of the optimism in the chat panel, but people, there's not a chance in hell. Simple as that. And I mean, this period coming up, Arne Slot is, he can't afford to be seen on a flight to Dubai this time, put it that way. But what's going to be the focus? Because I mean, people have got all sorts now, and I understand this, work on a defence. Can you get Johnny Heitinga back? All these types of things. What do you think is going to be Arne Slot's focus for this period now?
I think just making the most of the fact that the fixture list is easier and just play, let's try and repeat the Real Madrid performance. Let's try and repeat the Aston Villa performance. Let's go back to the things that we do well and try and produce them consistently. Can we get Isak in the team in some form? That would be extremely handy because he just puts the ball in the back of the net. So I think all those kind of things really. And as you say, you probably could do without being pictured in Dubai. I know it didn't go down particularly well last time, did it? So I think that's something to maybe think about. Even if he is going on holiday, maybe just keep out of the public and maybe don't be spotted out there would be helpful. And I would say about the talk about kind of Heisinger, and I've seen some question marks over Van Bronckhorst. It feels like it's kind of the thing that people do when you suddenly become not good, to kind of point it at the assistant manager. And it happened with Pep Linders, who for some bizarre reason some Liverpool fans have taken against, because apparently the last couple of seasons of Klopp were his fault rather than Jurgen's, and all of the good things that happened when Pep Linders came back to the club, they were nothing to do with him apparently. But it just, if we have a knowledge gap about these things, sometimes it's best not to just fill it with speculation. And I think the talk about the assistant managers is always the case with that, because nobody can really know how good and how influential they are really other than the people who are actually close to it. So I just ask people to maybe calm down with that kind of speculation, because I don't think that's right at all.
I suppose the only thing that in this break, and we've looked at this all season as well, it's the defensive patterns we're seeing, because it had looked better, and it had 2 clean sheets, and you thought they're compact, the double pit, it all seemed to be working well. That got tossed out the window. I mean, you look at the current trajectory as well. I think it's about 55 goals they're on course to concede. He's got to do something about that. Surely that's got to be a focus.
Yeah, you've just got to tighten up. You've just got to look like a more compact team that is less easy to score against. And everything is kind of based from that. And we talked about last season him coming in and that being kind of his first priority really, is to make Liverpool harder to play through and harder to score against. And he did have some success in that, but we haven't seen it at the start of this season. And maybe that is relationships, individual performances, fitness, all these things. But at some point, you've got to stop conceding. So, as you say, the current trajectory is really, really bad. And so that needs to be sorted ASAP, really.
And I suppose it's the final one, because they all comment in the chat panel, and it's right to ask. It's all still speculation. There's nothing really solid with January at all. Is the names like Semenyo might coming up, Gay mentioned, but there's generally nothing solid coming through at all, is there?
No, not at all. And the Semenyo stuff as well, I would be almost angry at Liverpool if you were to sign a goal-scoring winger in this window, because I think it's probably the last thing that this team needs at the moment. They need something that will help them stop conceding so many goals, to be honest. So, I've not heard anything concrete at all, and I always go into January kind of sceptical that they will do anything, to be honest.
Does feel that way, and if they don't do anything, they are going to have to sort a lot. It's not the best period at the moment. An international break, you'll have your feelings on that, but Liverpool need to improve. Maybe this run, people, might be the way forward. It's going to be an interesting run all the way through till Christmas time, isn't it? All it leaves me to say as ever is, for the time, the insight, and for answering all our questions, David, it is massively appreciated.
Thank you.
And ladies and gents, that was another Media Matters for Anfield Index.